Well, this is unacceptable. On the drive down to the shop, I let my burrito get cold. Welcome back to Driven Daily. In this episode, we are working on the Hill Climb Miata's cage again. And in the last episode, we fitted up these two rear diagonal braces, and I'm very happy with those, but I'm not ready to weld them in yet. Before I do that, I really want to revisit this harness bar. I'm not in love with it. It does not spark joy. When I made it, I was in a bit of a rush, and I reused one of the unused cage components from this cage kit that I got. And it's not a perfect fit. So it should be completely parallel to the main hoop, and it's not. It's off just a little bit. The welds are good, and the fit up is good, but it's a little too long. So instead of coming to the first diagonal in the X, the closest diagonal, it reaches over to the second one, which is a little bit awkward. I also want to be able to have two harnesses in the car, so I want it to span both. At this point, it makes more sense to just make a new one, and step one is to take this one out so I can take some measurements. Let's get into it. Where I'm cutting is awfully close to the fuel tank. I'm using a Sawzall, so there shouldn't be too many sparks, but even a piece of smoldering metal, just a small chip, could get in there and smolder enough to be hazardous. So I'm just gonna put a sheet of aluminum over it, and that should keep any sparks from falling in there. Okay, that looks great. For just being a Sawzall cut, I'm really happy with that. The next step is gonna be to clean this up so that I'm back down to the original tube and I don't have any weld on top of it. And then I've gotta measure, bend, and cope that new harness bar. Then I can weld that and the diagonals in and move on to the next project. I'm gonna head home and we'll pick this up tomorrow. So I'm gonna use the magic of editing to fast forward to it now. You can see that there's just a little bit of metal left on there, just a little bit of the lip from where the old tube was welded on and where it was coped on. So I'm gonna get my measurements, I'm gonna bend up the other tube, and then I'm gonna start coping it to this. Okay, here's the plan. I like to mark out what I'm doing before I start cutting and bending. So we've got an end here, it's cut at a 45-degree angle. I'll cut it at 45 degrees on this axis as well. And that'll essentially turn this into the left and the right. So it'll be semi-pre-coped for the tube. And I won't have to do as much hand fit up as I did for the rear diagonals. Yeah, I'm so happy with how that turned out. The coping looks great, it's parallel, and everything is gonna be nice and easy to weld. But I'm not gonna weld it in this episode. I'm putting that off into the next one, so make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you get notifications. Instead of welding it in, I'm going to take some time to clean up some of the vestigial parts from the old harness bar and just tidy up this area before I start welding tubes all over it and never have access to it again. I want to take care of that housekeeping because I know it's going to get under my skin and it's not going to take much time right now. So as always, thanks for watching and you'll see me in the next one. Bye.